All right, let's turn now to our guests who have opposing views on this very nuanced topic. Ira Melman is director of the Federation for American Immigration Reform. He supports stopping federal funding to sanctuary cities. Ali Noorani is with the National Immigration Forum, says the current legislative proposals could represent a step backwards. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us tonight. Ali, I'm going to start with you. Clearly, Mayor Emanuel in Chicago said that they will remain a sanctuary no matter whether the federal funding dries up or not. Can you say that for all sanctuary cities? What happens to those cities that really rely on that federal funding if it is pulled?
Well, this is more than federal funding. This is the economic impact that immigrants have on cities and, frankly, the American workers who are living a prosperous life because of immigrant contributions. So when you have a city like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, whose workforce is 25, 30, 40% of the total workforce in a city, the last thing a mayor like Mayor Emanuel wants to do is position their local law enforcement to be seen as targeting or profiling an immigrant community for their immigration status. So it is much more than a very important infusion of federal dollars. It's also the economic contribution of immigrants and immigration to American families in these cities.
Ira, I know that you were opposed to the sanctuary city concept, but can you quantify how much? Aditi Roy mentioned the financial burden from the federal funds that they may be losing if indeed the federal government decides to withdraw those funds. But what about on the local level? What kind of budget impact might that have?
Well, that depends on which funds are withheld from these cities. Look, they are making a political choice here. They are determining that they would rather protect people who are in the country illegally, including people who are here and committing other crimes, than they would getting this money from the federal government to meet local needs. So these are choices that these governments are making. And by the way, sanctuary cities were outlawed by Congress in 1996. The law is on the side of the federal government. It is up to Congress now to withhold those funds. But under the Obama administration, they were reluctant to do that because the Republican leadership claimed that President Obama would just veto it. Under this administration, the president will sign it and hold these local jurisdictions accountable.
Ira, do you dispute Ali's contention of the role that these immigrants play in these cities to take up maybe 40% of the employment for some of the jobs that some of the locals would not want otherwise? I mean, that would be a huge impact on those cities if they were to lose some of those employees, wouldn't they?
Well, first of all, Ali is conflating legal immigrants with illegal aliens. The legal immigrants have nothing to fear because they are here legally. But illegal aliens are forbidden to work under federal law. And in many cases, they are displacing American workers or driving down wages to a point where American workers will no longer take those jobs at the wages they're being offered. In addition, local communities have to provide education, all sorts of other benefits for people once they get there. So it's already costing them a lot of money. What they should allow is for the law to be enacted and for these people to move over and give the American worker an opportunity to take these jobs.
All right, Ali, do you want to respond to that? Because it's not always people who are in the country legally who are doing those jobs. A lot of times it is people who are here undocumented.
Well, this is the thing about this issue. It's very complicated, and like you said earlier, it's very nuanced. But when you get out of the big cities, let's think of small cities and towns in Idaho, Iowa, South Carolina, even small towns in Texas, their law enforcement, they took an oath to serve and protect the entirety of their community. They do not want to be in a position to enforce immigration law so that they, in essence, are chasing immigrants out. Or even worse, immigrants are not reporting crimes to law enforcement because they're afraid of the implications of offering their immigration status, legal or otherwise, because it tends to lead to many questions.
To the point of jobs, very quickly.
Sure.
Ali.
So the point of the jobs, a place like Idaho has an unemployment rate of 3%. Immigrant workers are contributing to the dairy industry, to agriculture up and down that state. They are a great deal for the American worker in Idaho. So why are we removing immigrants from the country, much less a thriving state like Idaho?
Gentlemen, there's never enough time, and this is a very, very complicated topic, but we appreciate you sampling it for us tonight. Appreciate it very much. Ira Melman with the Federation for American Immigration Reform and Ali Noorani with the National Immigration Forum.